Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Thanks for joining me here today. Today we got something special for you. We've got a Hot Wheels fantasy car called a Noodlehead. Now this car has two V8 engines, and that means of course 8 separate exhaust pipes per engine, and they all join together in the back to form 16 exhaust pipes. And I guess whoever designed the car said, hey, why not? It looks like a bunch of noodles. But it's kind of a weird design, but the car is pretty darn cool. It's really hard to find one with an intact, non-cracked windshield, but we were lucky enough to find one. So let's go ahead and get this car apart and get started. I've already drilled out the posts, so we'll get the car apart. The post on at least the engine block there, hold that together. Look at all the exhaust pipes on that bad boy. Man, I tell you what, that would be a loud car if this thing was real. So we'll have to polish that up. Now the body's all painted in hot pink, and there's a lot of toning underneath. Hot pink is one of those colors that if you get it right, it looks great. If you don't get it right, it looks like hell. The windshield's got a few small cracks in it, but we're going to do the best we can. It's awful hard to find one with a non-cracked windshield. Interior's pretty good shape. We're going to have to scrub that out with a toothbrush and some soap and water. Base is in excellent shape. That suspension block in the middle is in really super good shape, so we're lucky there. This car has the cap style wheels, so we're going to have to pop those bad boys off and get those replaced, and we're going to have to polish up the base. But that's in good shape. Now again, the body, like I said, there's a lot of toning underneath there. There's a lot of paint missing. We're going to change the color on this bad boy. And there's just something about this car that screams blue. Now, I've done a lot of paint jobs recently that have been blue. But you know what? I paint as I feel, how I feel. And some cars just look better in certain colors. Now, if you have a car with a lot of toning and like that, yeah, you can do your best to sand it and get it out, but you definitely need to do your best. And if you can't get rid of your toning, then you're going to need a darker color to cover it up. Well, now we've got it in the paint stripper. We're going to cover the entire car inside and out to get rid of the inside color because we're going to do a color change here. Make sure you get everything colored really good with your paint stripper, no matter what kind you're using. As I've said in many videos, I use the citrus strip, because it's very reasonably priced, and it does work. Not fast, but it does work. Let's move on. Got the body out of the paint stripper. We're going to do our best to polish this up and get it back to a real nice finish. I'm going to use some steel wool here for the most part, maybe some Scotch-Brite pad work in some of the areas. But once we get this taken care of and get a really good polish on it, this is going to look nice. Now I've got these new things I'm going to use. They're polishing bonnets, but they're actually made out of Scotch-Brite pads. I found these doing some searching on Amazon. Now the different colors are different abrasive mixtures. Now the thing with these, they're fairly reasonably priced, but they wear out quickly, so you got to be careful. The more pressure you put on them, they will disappear quickly. The green ones tend to be soft. Now this yellow one, man, is that tough. I would only use that for real hard to get out stains and like that, because that's going to take away some of your metal. We're going to do the best we can to go over some things here. The green one here for the most part seems to be the softest. The red is a little bit more abrasive. The black is right after the green. So we're going to give these a try. I think that they'll work out fine and they'll be okay. Let's go ahead and move on. Here we're going to go ahead and buff it up. I also got some new polishing wheels that I'm going to try. Now these ones here, as soon as you start buffing, they throw off a lot of fuzz, as you can see there on the video. Just cover up your work area and like that. I'm in the process of making my own box, so when I do my polishing and stuff like that, that'll just throw it in there and not get it all over my workbench. But these seem to work really, really nice. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. Really appreciate you subscribing to my channel, and thank you so much for your support. As long as I'm being supported here, I will definitely keep knocking out the videos because this is so much fun. Be real careful around anything that opens, like little panels or hoods or doors or anything like that, because if your buffer, your Dremel catches on any of those things, it's liable to snap them right off. So please be careful, all right? Like I said, the words of your experience. Take a tip here from your Uncle Paulie. This stuff will definitely rip apart your parts, so just please be careful. Well, that's starting to look pretty good. Now, there's a lot of areas on this car that are not going to be seen, but I still go in and try and polish them as best as I can. And this is looking really, really nice. We still got the back end to do, so we're going to take care of that. Well, that looks good. That looks really good. Got two taillights in the back there that are going to need to be detailed out. This is looking pretty darn sweet. Well, enough about that. Let's move on to the next step. Let's go ahead and buff out the engine. Those 2 engines and 16 exhaust pipes. I think we can get this to look a little bit nicer. Now, that Blue Magic metal polish cream in the background, I just happen to have that in the house because I use it on the rims of my truck, and it works pretty good on metal. There's all kinds of good products out there. You just have to choose which one you like. Now, the Noodlehead engine looks pretty darn good. I think it turned out well. Once we buff it down again with a cloth and everything, yeah, that Blue Metal Magic Polish Cream works pretty darn good. Let's move on. Here we got the base. We're going to put that in a 50-50 mixture of lime away and water and try and get the tarnish off that base. I repeat a lot of my steps here when I do my videos as far as what I tell you to do because, hey, you never know. You might be a brand new subscriber and not know what I do here. So the 50-50 mixture of lime away and water, we let it sit in there for approximately 4 minutes. Try not to let it sit in there any longer because if you do, it's liable to chemically stain the metal black, and it's really, really hard to get that stain out of there once it's in the metal. You may leave it in there for a less amount of time. You may put it in there for a little bit longer. But when we're done, we're going to take a brass brush and we're going to scrub it down and try and get off as much of that tarnish as we can. Now, my experience so far tells me that the plastic wheels, or these cap wheels, they don't get affected by the lime away, so we don't have a problem there. Make sure you wear your safety gear. You got rubber gloves. I got my safety glasses on when I'm using any chemicals that I don't get it splashed into my eyes. So make sure you wear your safety protection, please. It's been sitting for about 4 minutes, so we're going to take that brass brush and we're going to scrub it on down. Look at all the dirt and the tarnish dripping off that thing. This is going to turn out nice. I'm really, really pleased with the way this turns out. Now, you don't have to polish the base. The thing is with this one is that the base is seen from the sides of the car. So you want to make sure that if you're going to do it right the first time. How come it is that there's never time to do it right, but there's always time to do it again? You know what I'm talking about? Just do it right the first time and you'll save yourself a lot of heartache. Man, this is looking good. Look at that. What'll even make this look that much better is when you buff it up with some of that Blue Magic metal polish cream or some Flitz polish or something like that. That will make this look extra special. Look at that. Look how nice that turned out. A little bit of steel wool, maybe a little bit of the Scotch-Brite pads, and then that cream. Buff it up. That'll look really, really sweet. Man, I like where this is going. That's going to be awful nice. Now we've taken the windshield and we've sanded it down a little bit and we've polished it up as best we can. They got a few small cracks in here, but it's really hard to find these windshields that are not cracked, so we're going to have to stick with the one we got. We use the metal polish, we use the cream to polish it up, and now we're going to use the gauzy. I love this stuff. This stuff works great. Now some people use the Pledge Revive. It's been really hard for me to find here. I did just find a bottle of it recently, so I'm going to try that in one of my next videos and see how that works compared to the gauzy. But I'm excited to give it a try for sure. This stuff you can find on Amazon. Do a search for gauzy and make sure you get the glass coat gauzy because they make several different products, okay? This stuff works fantastic. Now when you open it up, like I've said in the past, you don't want to shake it up for sure because it'll develop bubbles in there. And when you dip your plastic windshield in there, if you're not careful, those bubbles will dry on the car or on the windshield. Slowly rotate it to mix it up as you see me doing here. Just like that, nice and slow. There you go. I want to thank Paul from Fat Guy Productions for introducing me to this product. It works fantastic. If you haven't gone to Paul's page, Fat Guy Productions, please do. The guy does phenomenal builds, and he's one of my mentors when it comes to getting into this hobby. I love his work. I respect the man. Please go to his page. If you haven't subscribed, please do. He does great work. Once you dip it in the gauzy, go ahead and wick off the excess, and that means touching it to a paper towel or something like that and letting it absorb off of that clear plastic. That looks nice, and it's going to dry nice and clear. So what I got here is I've got an upside down Rubbermaid or Tupperware container, got the paper towels in the bottom, and I'm going to cover it up to make sure that no fuzz or woolly boogers or something like that goes on there. And we're going to set that off to the side to dry. The results of this stuff is absolutely amazing. Love the product. Recommend it highly. Just do a search on Amazon. You'll be able to find it. Looking good. All right, folks. You know what? All this work has made me thirsty. So I think it's time for a cold beverage.
It's time for an ice cold beer.
For some reason I didn't get the initial video here of me spraying the tack coats on, but you want to start off with the tack coats, get all the hard to reach areas first, do some nice light coats, build it up gradually, let that set for about 5 minutes or so, and then come back in with your saturation coats. Now you want it wet looking, but you don't want to make it run, if that makes sense. This blue looks absolutely beautiful. We're just about done with this bad boy here. Man, does that look sweet. I absolutely love that color. All right. Here we've got all the parts. We got the base. We did the wheel swap. We got the cap wheels on there. That looks absolutely great. The base is all polished up. The engine is all polished up. That big twin V8's Noodlehead engine. The interior is nice and clean. Scrubbed it out with a toothbrush and soap and water. The gauzy on that windshield, that looks fantastic. It almost looks brand new. But like I said, there's still a few microscopic cracks in there, but we used what we had. Sometimes you just can't find replacement parts, folks. You just have to get lucky and find one that's not broken up. And we've got the body. Man, does that look sweet. That looks like blue candy. That is incredible. Now, I'm still going to go in and do the details on the lights in the back, and we'll put everything together here and see what we got. And this is what we started with. We have a Hot Wheels Noodlehead in hot pink, and there's a lot of toning, there's a lot of paint missing, a lot of scuffs and abrasions on this. The wheels need to be replaced. And overall, everything needs to be polished up to make it look good. Now, this is a really good base for you to start with. Now, if you want to get into this hobby, grab yourself a car, a 99-cent car from Walmart or Target or whatever, and do yourself a car that's only costing you 99 cents. I got a video coming up and show you exactly how to do that. Now this car is rough, but I think we've got everything we need to make this look absolutely beautiful. So let's show you the reveal. And here's the results. Man, look at that car. That thing is gorgeous. I detailed the lights in the back with a Sharpie paint marker pen. That looks really good. The engine is nice and shiny. The windshield with the gauzy looks beautiful. Brand new wheels from the Redline shop at www.redlineshop.com. And that blue paint, that blue Spectre Flame paint, also from the Redline shop. Guys, this is going to be a beautiful addition to my collection. Now, like I said, you can do this. Just don't hesitate to ask me questions in the comments. I'm happy to answer them for you. These videos are for you. So please get started. Let's have some fun. I want to thank you for joining me here today at Diecast Graveyard. I got a whole bunch of new videos coming out. When I get to 2,000 subscribers, we're going to give away that restored Sweet 16 set. So be tuned in for that, but you got to be a subscriber. This is Paul from Diecast Graveyard. Have a great day.